Once upon a time, in the quaint town of Ravenscroft, nestled deep in the heart of the American countryside, a love story unfolded amidst a dark and chilling mystery. It was the year 1923, and the townspeople whispered tales of an ancient curse that plagued the region. Thomas Abernathy, a ruggedly handsome gentleman with a haunted past, had recently moved to Ravenscroft in search of solace. He had heard the rumors of the curse, but little did he know that fate had something extraordinary in store for him. On a moonlit night, as Thomas strolled through the town cemetery, he noticed a solitary figure standing near a tombstone. Intrigued, he approached cautiously. There, standing amidst the flickering candlelight, was the ethereal beauty named Eleanor Hartley. Her long, flowing hair and piercing green eyes cast an enchanting spell upon Thomas, leaving him mesmerized. Eleanor, too, was drawn to Thomas, as if their destinies were intertwined. She revealed her own dark secret to him, a curse that had been passed down through her bloodline for generations. Her ancestors, followers of an ancient cult, had made a pact with an otherworldly being, granting them immortality. But the immortality came at a terrible price, an insatiable hunger for human flesh. Thomas, undeterred by the horrifying revelation, vowed to protect Eleanor and find a way to break the curse. Together, they embarked on a perilous journey to uncover the truth behind the curse that bound them. Their quest led them to an old mansion atop a desolate hill. Within its decrepit walls, they discovered a hidden chamber adorned with symbols of dark magic. It was here that the final piece of the puzzle awaited them, a forbidden ritual that promised to sever the curse forever. As Thomas and Eleanor delved deeper into the mystic arts, their love for each other grew stronger. United by a bond that transcended time and space, they faced their deepest fears, battling malevolent spirits and ancient demons that sought to tear them apart. But the forces they encountered were far more powerful than they had anticipated. As the night of the ritual approached, the town of Ravenscroft descended into chaos. Shadows danced in the moonlight, and the air was heavy with foreboding. The curse had awakened, threatening to consume everything in its path. In their darkest hour, Thomas and Eleanor stood together, armed with unwavering determination and a love that defied all odds. With their hands clasped tightly, they recited the incantation, their voices harmonizing in a desperate plea for salvation. As the final words echoed through the chamber, a blinding light erupted, engulfing them in its radiant glow. When the brilliance subsided, Thomas and Eleanor found themselves transformed. The curse had been broken, and they were finally free from its malevolent grip. The town of Ravenscroft, once shrouded in darkness, basked in newfound light and peace. Thomas and Eleanor, now mortal and deeply in love, celebrated their triumph over the curse. Their tale became the stuff of legend, whispered by generations to come, a reminder that love can conquer even the most terrifying of nightmares. And so, the once cursed town of Ravenscroft remained a beacon of hope, forever etching Thomas and Eleanor's story into the annals of history, a testament to the power of love, even in the face of unspeakable horrors.
Please subscribe my channel and click the bell icon for notification.
As the curse lifted from Ravenscroft, the townspeople rejoiced in the newfound tranquility. Thomas and Eleanor became revered figures, their love story celebrated and cherished by all. But their journey was far from over. With their bond deepening every passing day, Thomas and Eleanor found solace in each other's arms. They shared dreams of a future free from the terrors of the past. However, fate had one last test in store for them. A year had passed since the breaking of the curse when a mysterious stranger arrived in Ravenscroft. His name was Victor Blackwood, a charismatic and enigmatic man whose presence sent shivers down the spines of the townsfolk. Victor's arrival coincided with a series of inexplicable occurrences. People began vanishing without a trace, leaving the townspeople paralyzed with fear. Whispers of a new curse circulated, leaving Thomas and Eleanor unsettled. Determined to protect their beloved town, Thomas and Eleanor embarked on a relentless pursuit of the truth. Their investigation led them to Victor, whose true identity and intentions remained shrouded in secrecy. With each step closer to the answers they sought, Thomas and Eleanor felt a growing unease. The town's eerie silence unnerved them, and the sense of impending doom hung heavily in the air. They knew they had to act swiftly to save Ravenscroft from another dark chapter. Late one evening, as they followed a trail of clues, Thomas and Eleanor stumbled upon a hidden chamber beneath the town's abandoned church. There, they discovered a gruesome scene, a sacrificial altar surrounded by ancient symbols, bloodstains marking its surface. It became apparent that Victor was not who he claimed to be. He was a descendant of the same cult responsible for Eleanor's original curse, seeking to continue their dark legacy. He had ensnared the townspeople, intending to offer their souls in a diabolical ritual that would grant him unimaginable power. Realizing the imminent danger, Thomas and Eleanor resolved to confront Victor and put an end to his reign of terror. Armed with their love and unwavering determination, they confronted him in a climactic battle of wills and magic. As their powers clashed, the very fabric of reality seemed to tremble. Lightning crackled across the sky, illuminating the intense struggle. But Thomas and Eleanor's love burned brighter than any darkness Victor could conjure. In a final act of desperation, Victor unleashed a devastating spell that threatened to consume everything. But Thomas, fueled by his love for Eleanor, tapped into a wellspring of untapped strength within him. With a surge of power, he redirected the spell, casting it back upon Victor. As the dark energies consumed Victor, he let out a blood-curdling scream, and the town shook as if an earthquake had struck. When the dust settled, there was no trace of him. He had been vanquished, and Ravenscroft was safe once more. The townspeople emerged from their homes, their faces filled with awe and gratitude. They hailed Thomas and Eleanor as heroes, forever indebted to them for their bravery and sacrifice. With Victor's threat vanquished, Ravenscroft could finally heal from the wounds of its haunted past. Thomas and Eleanor, having overcome yet another trial, embraced each other tightly, knowing that their love had triumphed over darkness once more. The nightmare was finally over, and they could finally envision a future together, free from curses and malevolent forces. And so, Thomas and Eleanor continued to live in Ravenscroft, their love story immortalized in the hearts of the townspeople. They became beacons of hope, reminding everyone that even in the face of unspeakable horrors, love could conquer all. As the years passed, Thomas and Eleanor's tale spread far and wide, becoming a legend whispered across the land. Their love, which had endured the darkest of nightmares, remained an inspiration for generations to come. And in Ravenscroft, their story became an integral part of the town's history, a reminder that love, courage, and the indomitable spirit of humanity could prevail, even in the most terrifying of circumstances.
Please subscribe my channel and click the bell icon for notification. Please subscribe my channel and click the bell icon for notification.
Once upon a time, in a small town in the USA, there lived a couple named Jack and Emily. They were madly in love and spent every moment together. One evening, they decided to go for a walk in the nearby forest. It was a beautiful night with a full moon shining bright. As they walked, they heard strange noises coming from the woods. Emily was scared and wanted to go back, but Jack reassured her that everything was fine. However, they soon realized that they were being followed by someone or something. They quickened their pace, but the footsteps behind them got louder and closer. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the darkness. It was a tall, pale man with sharp teeth and glowing red eyes. He introduced himself as Edward and claimed that he was a vampire. Jack and Emily were terrified, but Edward promised that he wouldn't hurt them. He explained that he had been watching them and had fallen in love with Emily. He begged her to leave Jack and be with him instead. Emily was horrified by Edward's proposal, but Jack was furious. He lunged at Edward, but the vampire easily overpowered him. Edward then turned to Emily and said that if she refused him, he would kill Jack. Emily was torn between her love for Jack and her fear of Edward. She didn't know what to do. Suddenly, she had an idea. She told Edward that she would be with him on one condition: he had to turn her into a vampire too. Edward was overjoyed by Emily's proposal and agreed to turn her. However, he warned her that once she became a vampire, she would lose all her human emotions, including love. Emily was willing to take the risk. Edward then proceeded to bite Emily's neck, turning her into a vampire. Jack was horrified by what he saw and tried to attack Edward again, but the vampire easily overpowered him once more. As he lay on the ground, bleeding, he watched as Emily and Edward disappeared into the night. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months, but Jack could not forget about Emily. He couldn't understand why she would choose to be with a monster like Edward. One night, he decided to take matters into his own hands. He went to Edward's lair, armed with a wooden stake and a vial of holy water. As he approached the door, he could hear Emily and Edward talking inside. He could hear Edward's voice, but Emily's was different. It was cold and emotionless, just as Edward had warned her. With a heavy heart, Jack pushed open the door and charged towards Edward. The vampire was caught off guard and stumbled backwards. Jack plunged the wooden stake into his chest, and Edward let out a blood-curdling scream. As he fell to the ground, Emily lunged at Jack, but he was prepared. He threw the vial of holy water at her, and she disintegrated into dust. Jack fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. He had lost the love of his life, but he had also saved her from a fate worse than death. As he left Edward's lair, he knew that he would never forget the horror of that night. But he also knew that he had done the right thing, no matter how painful it was.
Please subscribe my channel and click the bell icon for notification.